Hey, you guys. How's it going? Hey, Instagram. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining me today. Hello, Facebook. Before we begin, I want to share this into the Facebook group, the Leather Tamers. If you're not a member of the Leather Tamers, I would highly recommend it. It is our fun group where we talk about all kinds of things like how to start a leather business and how to find your customer and basically how to get your profitable leather business off the ground. Okay, so that is shared into the group. So I'm so excited for what I'm talking about today because it's all about how to build your dream business in 3 steps. But first, before we get into it, I just want to take a second and introduce myself. My name is Mary, and I help leathersmiths like you really build the profitable business of your dreams, basically. I help you to understand what you have to offer, who it's for, who wants it, how to attract those customers and those people that want what you have, so that you can make sales month after month and really grow the profitable business of your dreams. And I do this in a number of different ways. I am obsessed with sort of the marketing strategies and using these like awesome tools that we have, like social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, all of it. I'm obsessed with figuring out those strategies and how we can really harness that power in our businesses because it's all free and they're available for anyone. So that's kind of amazing. And I also have a blog. I just gave the blog a little facelift. So you might want to go over and check that out at leatherbeast.com/blog. It's looking pretty good over there, where I write about topics like this, like developing your dream business in 3 simple steps. That's a post that just went live today. I also obviously have the Facebook page and the group. I would like to invite you to join all of those. I have a YouTube channel as well, and I am on Pinterest and trying to figure that out. That's the latest one. So hello to all of you in all of those places. I hope you'll join me in all the other places. And I also create these free workshops and trainings that just kind of take the stuff that I talk about on the blog. It just takes it a little bit further and gives you a little bit more information. So right now I have one called 5X Your Leather Goods Business. The title says it all, right? If you want to take your business from here and move it up to here, watch the workshop. You can head to lucrativeleathercraft.com and watch that immediately. And that just really kind of goes through the real foundational things that you need to have running in your business from day one. And then everything else falls into place. So knowing your customer, knowing what you have to offer, and promotion. I'm talking all about those 3 things, which I feel like those are kind of like the big 3 things that are really challenging when you're first getting started. So if you need some help with that, check out that workshop. It's at lucrativeleathercraft.com. Okay, so we're going to start planning your dream business in 3 steps. But real quick, I want to just give a shout out to someone who gave me a shout out. You guys write such nice messages to me, and it's seriously like your DMs on Instagram and your Facebook messages and your emails that you send to me. It's just so nice when you take a second and you say, hey, I like what you're doing. Like, it makes me feel so good, and it just kind of like encourages me to keep doing what I'm doing. So like, I really appreciate it. So I just thought that I would give a shout out to Matt, who wrote me the other day, and he said, I just got your email and I have to say the timing is crazy. I've been looking into different e-commerce platforms and trying to find the right one. This was in reference to the blog post I did a couple weeks ago, all about figuring out where to sell your leather goods. And then he says, thank you for being such a great source of information. I love that. Thanks, Matt. Okay. Let's Do this. So, building your dream business. Have you ever heard the saying, throw it all at the wall and see what sticks? It's like, just take all of the strategies and methods and do all of them, and then we'll just see which one works the best. Well, that's how I used to run my business a long time ago, like 10 years ago. And it doesn't really work. It takes a really long time. It's really time consuming. You waste a lot of energy doing that. It's much better to just figure out what you want and then plan a strategy for how you're going to attain that. So, throwing all the things at the wall and doing all of the things, that's one way to do it. I hope you enjoy frustration and really time consuming things. Or you can plan out what your dream leather business looks like from the start and make a plan for how you're going to achieve that profitable result that you want, right? We all want the profit, right? That's the whole point. Like when you actually figure out what it is that you want from your business, how you want it to operate, what you want your day-to-day to look like, how much money you want to make, those important things. When you actually sit down and plan that out, you know what your dream business looks like, and it's much easier then to create the strategy for attaining that. And then you don't get caught up in a situation where you haven't taken a vacation in 8 years or something like that. It doesn't have to be like that. So, a lot of the successful business owners, this is what they do. They plan it out. Even the small handmade business owners, the ones that are really successful, they have a goal and they know where they're going and they know how they are getting there. And along the way, they are using their strategy that they've put in place and really laser focused on that goal. So let's take a page from their book. And speaking of pages, this is a little writing exercise. So get out your little journal or a scrap piece of paper or a receipt, whatever, and take some notes here. You can do this now or you can do it later. It's totally up to you. But I really want you to write it down, because when you just think about these things, it's not really as impactful as writing it down somewhere and then you can come back to it later and look at it. It's a good reminder, all of that. So step 1, what is your end goal for your leather business? What do you want from your leather business? So instead of starting with where you are right now and looking way out where you need to go, that can be kind of like an overwhelming, it can be like looking at the mountain, right? And you're like, oh man, I'm never going to get there. So instead of doing it that way, I want you to start with the end result, where you want to be, and look back at yourself, look down the hill, basically. So basically, if you knew that you could like close your eyes and like snap your fingers and magically have that success, I want you to verbalize and write down what that would be. So think about what that looks financially. Think about what your physical location looks like. Do you see employees or no employees? Think about how big you want your business to be, how much time you yourself are spending in the business. And I want you to think about this for, say, like a 3 to 5 year period, say. So what does your dream business look like 3 years from now? And so I really want you to do sort of like a brain dump. Just start writing. And this is also going to include some personal things, right? Because that is a lot of times they just overlap. So you might have things like get out of debt or pay off your house or something like that. But really get it specific and get it all out on paper. And so these are some of the things that I wrote for my own business. I wrote, I want to have a high 6-figure business in 5 years. I want to be able to travel to fun and exotic places, and I want to work that into my business. I want that to be a part of my business. I want to be out of debt. I want to have my house paid off, which again, this is a personal goal, but it requires my business to be in a certain place for me to be able to do that. I want an assistant and a small remote team to help me with sales, social media, and all of the administrative stuff. I don't want to have to manage more than one person in person, face to face. I want any of my team to be remote. That way I have the ability to be able to travel, to be able to move, to be able to say, hey, I'm taking off for the weekend, So for me, I want that freedom. So take a couple minutes and think about what you want your business to look like. Where do you want to be in 3 to 5 years? Okay, step 2, looking at your business in 5 years or 3 to 5 years, what don't you want to see? What are the things that you're like, I do not want to be doing this in 5 years? It's funny, I'll tell you a little story. So this week I had a couple major like IT problems that I uncovered. Some of my emails were not delivering to people, and I spent hours trying to figure out. I was looking at the reports on my email service provider. I was trying to figure out, why are some people getting it? I was like emailing my sister and asking her to sign up for my stuff to see if she got into my emails, because I thought maybe I just wasn't seeing it because it, like the cookies on my website or something like that. So it was like really frustrating. I wanted to throw my computer through the wall. I didn't. And I think I finally figured it out, or at least I figured out how to like adjust the settings so that from now on it doesn't, people actually get my emails. But yeah, so for me, that's something that I do not want to be doing in 5 years from now. I don't want to be handling that sort of administrative IT part of the business. I don't want to be handling the tech. I want somebody else to be doing that that's on my team. So it's really important to take the time to paint this picture as well. It's just as important as what you want to see. It's what you don't want to see. That's just as important, because if you don't plan and if you don't kind of like draw that line in the sand and give yourself boundaries, you're going to end up becoming sort of a slave to your business, and you're going to be unhappy. You're going to be burnt out. You might even be killing that joy that the craft had brought you in the first place. I talked about this a little bit last week in the last blog post that I wrote, the modern trap of your side hustle. If you missed that, go back and check that out. But we don't want you to be building this business that you're eventually going to hate being in. You should be building the business that you're going to love working in. So that also goes to along with like, how many hours a day do you want to be spending in your business? Sure, I could spend 16, 17 hours a day working on this business, but I don't. I spend close to 12 right now. I hope to decrease that soon. But if you don't want to see yourself working those like long ass hours, then write it down. So this is what I wrote for the things that I don't want to see in 5 years. I don't want to be tied to a physical location. So no brick and mortar for me. I need to be able to travel and easily work remotely if I am away from my home office. At this point, I don't want the brick and mortar store, although every once in a while when we go upstate to these cute little towns, I see a cute little storefront, like 500 square feet or something, and I'm like, that would be an adorable little store. But right now, I'm saying no to that. I don't want employees to manage on location, and I don't want to be making a huge product line that's going to be hard to manage on a small scale. Like, I want to keep my product line very streamlined, only a handful of products, maybe a lot of different colorways and different hardware finishes and things like that. But the actual design, I want like 3 to 5 products, and that's it. Because then I'll be able to manage that on a small scale and still bring in income from that. So take a couple minutes and write down what you don't want to see yourself doing, what you don't want to see your business looking like in 3 to 5 years. And then the final step is step 3, create a strategy. So now that you know what you do want your leather business to look like and what you don't want your leather business to look like, you can work backwards and create the strategy for how you're going to do this. How are you going to make this happen? How are you going to make the things that you do want to happen, and the things you don't want to happen, not happen? You should start with your biggest wants and think about the major steps that you're going to need to take and things that you'll do to make that happen. So let's use my example of wanting a 6-figure business. So how am I going to get to 6 figures? High 6 figures, actually, is what I said. So questions I might ask myself is, How many leather goods actually would I need to sell a year to bring in that much revenue? So I'm going to have to get clear on what high six figure means. But how many, how many leather bags does that equal? If I want to bring in 100,000 a year, how many bags a year is that? And is that actually possible? And if it's not possible for just me, then how am I going to have some help and get the help to be able to do it? How much product would that equate to per month? And realistically, am I able to do that? Am I able to do that in the space that I'm working at? So really start to get sort of more specific about what these steps mean and how they kind of are going to get you there in reality. How much growth year after year will I need to reach six figures in 5 years? Will I need to create products that can be wholesaled to many different stores? And does that change my sort of ideas about my products now? If I know that eventually I'm going to be able to need to make my products sort of in bulk, does that affect the design of my products right now? Do I need to make them more streamlined so that I'm able to make my items in bulk? How many customer leads or how big of an email list will I need to make this happen? How will I grow my social following and entice them to get on my email list? So this one's kind of tough to know that, but generally it's about a 2% conversion. It definitely varies. It can be a little bit more, it can be a little bit less, but 2% conversion is kind of the general standard for email list to sales. So 2% of your email list will actually purchase. So if you have 100, that's 2 people. So that's how you sort of come to that. And then can I get there with organic traffic and social media, or this will require me to start creating ads and paying to get some more traffic to my site? Could I achieve my goal quicker with ads? What kind of ad budget would it require? So you do see how I'm just getting more and more granular with my questions about my big goal and kind of starting to break it down into all of the pieces. And by the way, we talk about this a lot in my program, Lucrative Leathercraft. It's all about planning the strategy and working out how to use your social media to really achieve these big goals. It's not just about getting a big following and then what do you do with it? It's like, get the following and then how do you make that convert into buyers? So anyways, let's see, I'm just looking at my notes. Or, if the goal isn't monetary, maybe it's that you do want your own brick and mortar store in 5 years. So work backwards in the same way, starting with the big questions and getting smaller and smaller and more detailed questions until you know what the big questions and answers are. So maybe, if you do want the brick and mortar, you have to say, okay, how much of an investment of money up front am I going to need to get this? Where's this brick and mortar store going to be? How big is it going to be? How much product? Will it just be my own stuff, or will I be selling other people's stuff as well? Will there be other income streams? How am I going to market this? So same sort of thing. Just work backwards from the ultimate goal and just keep taking smaller steps backwards until you get to where you are right now. So you can throw things at the wall all day long, and sometimes they do stick, but other times it takes you a really long time to figure out something that does stick when you could have just started from the very beginning and planned the strategy from what you actually want, which is what I recommend. You'll get there much quicker, and then you can just get to work on putting in the work that you know is actually helping you move your business towards that goal. So I want to know, where do you see your leather business in 5 years? Are you going to throw things at the wall all day long, or are you going to dream it and accomplish it? I hope that you'll do the latter and really build your profitable business. I would love to hear from you. So comment on the blog if you're reading it. Comment on the Instagram feed here if you're watching here, and my Facebook friends. Comment below and tell me Where do you see your leather business in 5 years? I'm really curious to know where all of you are at, and I love you all for tuning in today and watching the video, whether you're watching live or you're watching it on the replay. That's it. And again, if you are interested in knowing more about what you need to know about your customer, how to promote to them what you offer, and how to really attract those people that want what you sell, watch the workshop that I have. It's at lucrativeleathercraft.com, and it will walk you through how to 5x your leather goods business in just 3 steps. I'm all about the 3 steps, right? All right, you guys, that's it for now. I will see you later. Hi, Roaring Lion Leather. She says, I just started in this leather world and I'm excited to start a business. I'm excited for you. That's awesome. I can't wait to talk to you more about it. Okay, bye, guys. Talk to you soon.